Stop for a moment and feel it. How exhausted are you from the endless push of marketing that demands you to sell, sell, sell? The constant pressure to convince, to persuade, to shout louder than everyone else until your voice turns hoarse. It's suffocating, isn't it? Because here's the brutal truth no one wants to say out loud. When marketing becomes just a sales tool, it stops being human. It loses its soul. And if your marketing feels this way, if every campaign, every message, every click feels like a desperate plea, you're not alone. You're trapped in a cycle that steals your energy, your creativity, and worst of all, your audience's trust. People smell fear, desperation, and dishonesty a mile away. They tune out. It's like trying to force a seed to grow by yelling at it. No matter how loud you scream, it won't blossom. Now imagine what happens if marketing stops trying to sell. Sounds crazy, right? But stay with this. It's the idea that could change everything for your business, for your life. Because this shift goes beyond tactics and charts. It's about going back to why marketing was ever powerful in the first place. Connection. Real connection. One that people crave but have forgotten how to recognize. When marketing stops trying to sell, it stops pushing products, and it starts building something far more valuable. Trust, loyalty, and human relationships that can't be broken by an ad block or a scroll. It's the difference between shouting in an empty room and speaking into the ear of someone who's been waiting, longing to hear exactly what you have to say. You see, the biggest mistake that marketers, founders, and leaders make is thinking their job is to shove products into people's faces. But the truth? The truth is that people don't want to buy products. They want to be understood. They want to feel seen. They want to belong to something that makes them feel bigger than themselves. They want to be part of a story they believe in, something real, raw, and utterly transformative. So when marketing stops trying to sell, it frees itself from this shallow chase and instead becomes a magnet, pulling in those rare few who resonate deeply with what you stand for. Not because you shouted the loudest, but because you spoke the truth. This isn't about gimmicks or sneaky tricks. It's about crafting a message that doesn't ask but gives. It's about showing up with authenticity so fierce that it slices through the noise and makes people stop scrolling, stop doubting, and start listening. How to do that? Listen up. This is not conventional wisdom. Start by killing your own assumptions about your audience. Forget buyer personas. Forget endlessly segmenting emails to chase clicks. Instead, invest in understanding the human behind the screen. What keeps them up at night? What silent battles are they fighting? What hope burns inside them just below the surface? When you uncover this, your marketing stops feeling like marketing and becomes a lifeline. It becomes a mirror reflecting not just who your audience is, but who they want to be. Here's the catch. This kind of marketing is hard because it demands radical honesty. It demands courage to admit what you don't know, to be vulnerable, to take a stand that might alienate some, but magnetize others. Because the world will tell you to play it safe, to please everyone, to not rock the boat. But true progress, the kind that changes industries and moves souls, never comes from the center. It comes from the edge, from the few who refuse to be silenced, who dare to be more than another bland voice in the crowd. This is for those who are done waiting for validation, for those who choose to burn with purpose rather than flicker with complacency. Now imagine your marketing as a conversation between equals, not a transaction. Imagine talking to your audience not as people to be convinced, but as allies in a common mission. When marketing stops trying to sell, it invites participation, co-creation, and rebellion against the status quo. It says, "We're in this together. Let's build something real." It becomes a movement, not a pitch. It ignites the fire inside those rare few who see the world not as it is, but as it could be. And when these few gather, when they connect, magic happens. Ideas spark, collaborations multiply, and the system's walls begin to crumble. You might feel isolated now, misunderstood by the mainstream, like your brilliance is misaligned with the world's dull machinery. That's not a flaw, it's a signal. The system was never built for the exceptional, the rare, the radical. It was designed to herd everyone into safety and conformity. But you don't belong in that pen. Your marketing, your leadership, your vision, they deserve more. They demand a network where difference is celebrated, not erased. A place where your fire finds the fuel it needs to blaze brighter than ever. When marketing refuses to sell, it becomes the gateway to this new world, where connection breeds creation and creation breeds freedom. The problem is, most marketing strategies buy into the system that steals your power. They trick you into thinking that volume equals impact, that chasing trends equals thought leadership, that discounting your value equals more sales. None of this is true. Volume is noise. Trends are distractions. Discounting is surrender. The truth that you must cling to, that must become the core of your marketing, is that clarity, courage, and alignment with your true essence will always outlast the latest tactic or platform. When marketing stops trying to sell, it stops selling out its soul. Here's the secret weapon: sovereignty over your message. The freedom to say no to everyone who doesn't fuel your fire. The discipline to align only with those who burn as fiercely as you do. This is not a volume game, it's a precision game. When you focus your energy on the few who truly matter, something unbelievable happens. The right people find you. And because they resonate deeply, they don't just buy. They become part of your cause. They amplify your voice. They unlock the massive latent power in collective action. So stop wasting your time trying to convince the indifferent. Stop cluttering the airwaves with empty promises. Instead, pour everything into creating meaning that's so potent it can't be ignored. Share stories that rip through pretense. Build bridges between brilliance and belonging. Craft experiences that demand participation, not passive consumption. This is marketing that liberates, that inspires, that doesn't ask, "Why should I buy?" but "How can I join?" When marketing stops trying to sell, it starts to heal the wounds inflicted by a world that promises freedom but delivers chains, that offers comfort but kills the soul. It reclaims the power of the individual brushed aside by mediocre systems. It challenges the false narratives we're told about success and growth. It breaks apart safe universes built on lies to create spaces where transformation is not just possible, but inevitable. Yes, it requires patience. Yes, it demands playing the long game, but the reward is beyond anything chasing quick conversions can offer. A network of true allies, a loyal tribe that won't let you fail, and a legacy that resonates far beyond fleeting sales metrics. Because this kind of marketing, done right, doesn't just sell a product. It frees minds, it inspires revolution, it builds a future where exceptional isn't the exception. It's the standard. Remember, true freedom doesn't come from following formulas or scripts handed down by others. It comes from dismantling those scripts, questioning every assumption, and then crafting a message that only you can deliver. It's about practicing ruthless freedom every day in your marketing and your life. This is the edge. This is the rebellion. And once marketing stops trying to sell, it can finally start setting you, your business, and your audience free. So what's next? Stop selling, start connecting. Stop demanding attention, start earning it. Stop pushing products, start building a movement. Because when marketing stops trying to sell, it becomes unstoppable. It becomes the spark that ignites change, the pulse that beats through the noise, and the voice that finally breaks silence. This is where power lives, not in pushing, but in pulling. Not in shouting, but in inviting. Not in selling, but in sharing reality as it is, raw and fearless. Make your marketing a rebellion against mediocrity. Make it a beacon for the rare few who refuse to settle for less. Let it be the power that turns misaligned brilliance into aligned greatness. This is your moment to stop chasing empty clicks and start cultivating sacred connections. Because the world doesn't need more sales, it needs more revolutionaries. More souls who burn with the truth that marketing is not about selling. It's about unleashing the unstoppable potential locked inside every individual brave enough to rise beyond the limits, to transcend what everyone else calls reality, and to build what's next. Let that truth sink in and carry you forward as your greatest weapon and your truest liberation.